All right. Welcome to another Hyperspace Reactions. This time, where we're doing it, Goblin has released another video on these mystery magic mushroom products. His last one on the Treehouse Vape was incredibly poorly done. He made a lot of very unsubstantiated claims, did a lot of aimless fear-mongering, completely misrepresented the lab tests that he pulled up, like fully misrepresented them, claimed that the he said lead and mercury was in the vape when it's like 0.00000 something percent below the legal limit. But you know, it's fine. You can just spreading misinformation online. For anybody who might see this outside of this community, I'm trying to give Goblin the benefit of the doubt here, right? Like, the guy was one of the reasons why I got into this space. I first found out about the 2018 Farm Bill, basically legal weed in most states, even in Wisconsin, where it's considered to be a pretty intense state for that. It's reached the point to where, because of the THCA loophole under the 2018 Farm Bill, you can just go to a gas station and buy flour. I can't promise you it's going to be the best quality of flour, but I didn't know that until his video on the subject. And so then naturally I watched a bunch of his different, like, you know, story videos. It's an interesting insight into a lifestyle, a life past that I just wasn't a part of. He certainly had a more troubled youth, and he's at least made something of it. The problem I had with some of his content is, like, while he does a lot of talk about how, like, it's important to not do the things that he did, or to, you know, like, he'll give, like, harm reduction techniques and whatnot vaguely, it still is ultimately the kind of content that's going to be primarily consumed by high schoolers and college students. Two demographics that are deeply, not the greatest with life decisions. And so while he'll, like, say, like, oh, don't try this thing, don't do this thing, I mean, it very much gives off a very similar energy to, like, weirdly, it kind of gives me the same impression I got of, like, a lot of these dare courses, where, like, they hype it up so much, and then, like, the mixture of him saying don't do this behavior, but then going on and then telling, like, all these fun times he had, and, you know, making light of the situation and making, you know, millions of views from telling these stories. It gives a weird conflict of interest vibe there. That is its whole own ethical dilemma. But with that in mind, we're going to get into it. No, I've not seen the video yet. Don't let YouTube's progress bar blind you to the truth. If I can say anything immediately, the thumbnail is ridiculous. What are we doing, my guy? What the fuck are we on about? So he had made a tweet about this a few weeks back where he was talking about how he was ordering some of these products on Amazon to try. And I was immediately notified of this because of, again, how poorly his previous coverage was. And so I took the time after that video to get into contact with a couple people who I know in the industry, a couple of the manufacturers, apparently one of them that is featured in this specific video. And they confirmed that no, they're not the ones actually putting their product on Amazon. It is third-party resellers. If you look at their listings on Amazon, sometimes it's literally just a guy's name. We might look into that a little bit later as the video progresses. We'll see. So we will get right into it.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin. You like the little walk-in intro? Listen, very different scenery today. I'm in the middle of an Airbnb in North Carolina. Bumfuck nowhere, I know. But listen, I'm not here to tell you guys about North Carolina or my trip today. I'm here to tell you instead about some very fun stuff that I've managed to acquire from Amazon that I have a feeling Amazon doesn't really know that they're providing. Now, what am I talking?
Fair, but on the same point, Amazon has a major issue across all products in all industries of resellers or very shitty things basically just being mass put up on Amazon. It's too big of a marketplace. It's becoming a total clusterfuck. So, yeah, it's very likely Amazon doesn't know about it, and if they do, they don't care.
Talking about today? Well, you guys have probably seen my recent videos. You know, I've been diving into the smoke shops lately and really tearing them up. However, the smoke shops aren't the only place that you're able to get a lot of these questionable products. In fact, it seems that nowadays Amazon has taken a share of that market as well, because all of these products that I'm holding in my hand right now that are all magic mushroom gummies were delivered directly to my door, a couple of them with Amazon Prime even, in a very short amount of time. None of these were provided by a third-party shipping partner or anything. They were purchased directly off the Amazon web.
Yeah, they were purchased directly off the Amazon website, but not by the manufacturers of the products. That's important. That is very important distinction. Is it good that that's happening on there? No, I very much think that they should be removed from Amazon as well. They're not doing age verification because it's literally just some dude putting the shit on there.
Website. Now, I'm not actually making this video because I have a problem with the gummies. Although we are going to talk about these and highlight some of the sketchy stuff about them, I'm more so making this video because I have a problem with the fact that currently you can go buy these on Amazon with 0 test results attached, 0 info about what's actually inside them.
Yeah, so he got into this point quite a bit in the previous video, and I feel like it needs to be restated. There are indeed test results for the products, but they're not going to list the main active ingredient, and that is because the specific active ingredients in these products are not real magic mushrooms. It's just a marketing gimmick. It is using a synthesized research chemical that duplicates or spoofs effects to feel very similar to that of magic mushrooms. Some of them far more precisely than others. So they're not going to say it in the specific lab testing because it is very sketch as to whether or not it is prosecutable, right? So there is a law called the Federal Analog Act where it, in vague terms, basically says you're not supposed to just make spoofs of drugs. But most people just will anyway. It's a matter of like, there's just not the administrative or bureaucratic willpower to prosecute these products. And because these are not FDA approved, and because it explicitly says on the product that they're not FDA approved, any testing that they are providing is strictly voluntary. Nobody is making them provide testing. So why would they put their neck out on the line to say what their proprietary recipe is when it could potentially lead them to legal jeopardy? So instead, they do the testing of stuff that a lot of people would care about, whether it has heavy metals, whether it has THC, whether it has amanita, other things along those lines. And so it's like, yeah, it's true. They don't have testing data on that. So do a lot of different products.
And a lot of the product pages are somewhat misleading because you'll see in a moment that it's not actually Amazon selling these all the time. Sometimes it's very sketchy third.
Okay, if he's going to address it, props to him for that one, because a lot of people have been missing that one lately. And yeah, if you're part of my community, do not order any of these on Amazon. Do the community a service and do not allow these shady people to repost their shit onto Amazon. They're almost certainly just smoke shops or some person who like operates an online business, contacts one of these companies pretending like as though they have an in-store facility and then is getting them on the wholesale prices, which in some cases is dirt fucking cheap for some of these, and then charging full price online with their name without indicating that it's not the actual manufacturer putting them out there.
Party vendors. But before we get into that and before I show you my Amazon orders, let me actually show you what I've got in my hands here today, because you're about to be shocked that this got delivered to my door by an Amazon driver. Now, in my hands today, I have 3 different bags of shroom gummies that I bought directly off Amazon. And this actually is not all I ordered. This is just all I brought with me to North Carolina. There's also a 1-Up bar waiting for me at home that I did not bring on this trip because I figured that one might actually get me arrested, unlike these other ones. But yes, I'm not kidding. I bought an actual 1-Up bar on Amazon. And I will show you in just...
I'm not familiar with what a 1-Up bar is. Maybe it's some decriminalized thing. I could look it up. I mean, we can give it a go. 1-Up bar. All right, what are we looking at here? This is one of the sketchiest companies I've seen in a hot minute as far as their website look. It's got this like very plastic. Okay, oh my. Ooh. I mean, this product has kind of a jank about it that reminds me quite a bit of the Willy Wonkies. I wonder if it's the same people. Right, so that's another one of those like open secret kind of situations to where there is a not insignificant amount of these products that are being sold in smoke shops that are pretending to be legal research chems or gray zone research chems, but is actually just straight magic mushrooms. Very possible that's among them. It's a tricky subject, especially with all these places where it's now becoming decriminalized. There's just not the bureaucratic will to prosecute them.
The moment, the order history for that. But let's talk about the ones I have in my hand here. So first and foremost, okay, we have these magic mushroom gummies. The brand is irrelevant here because they're all somewhat comparative. Now, I want to make it clear.
Yeah, so the rumor about that one, and I've only seen that product a couple times before, is supposedly it is white label Treehouse. So the package looks basically identical, it's the same shape, and the product is apparently also the same.
That although these products, a lot of the players in this space are pretty sketchy, for the most part, I actually don't have that big of a problem with these. Of course, the shroom vapes are very sketchy, and there are a lot of bad actors in the gummy space that are putting 4-ACO DMT and stuff. Not going to name any names, but it definitely...
Well, so then we get into okay, is it bad to put 4-ACO DMT and stuff? No, it's perfectly fine. It's just synthesized psilocybin. Yeah, it certainly puts you closer on that Federal Analog Act gray zone on that one. A lot of companies are switching away from that research chem because it's just... It's too much.
Does occur. However, a lot of these products are also just stuff like Amanita and Lion's Mane and just blends of those mushrooms that,
Oh, and I forgot to say it at the beginning because YouTube cares. Hopefully they don't bust me for it. Yeah, this is for education and harm reduction purposes. While the commentary may be entertaining, the firm purpose is this is education. Hopefully they don't ding me because they don't care about actually adhering to their terms and service. They only care about what the AI hears.
Mood enhancement, which that I personally don't see much of an issue with. I do still believe they probably should be sold on Amazon, but the problem is what's blending in alongside these products is ones that are also much worse. Now, I'm not saying that any of the ones that I'm holding are good by any means because they're probably not, but I can't also definitively say that they're 4-ACO DMT or anything like that. Now, what's interesting about this bag here is we flip it around on the back, and there's two things I want to highlight here. First off, this bold line right here that says, this product contains no...
Okay, that's very typical. Again, because it doesn't contain psilocybin or Amanita muscaria. It contains research chems that are pretty similar. It's just marketing. So much of this is marketing that they clearly contacted some legal representative to serve as their PR person to be as precise as they can so they don't get busted.
Amanita or psilocybin. So psilocybin, of course, is standard shrooms. Amanita is a very popular, somewhat not new, but newly popularized natural shroom that it's not really very comparative to psilocybin. It's become very popular recently. That's what a lot of these products typically have in them. So I'm a little concerned as to what this actually is if it's not Amanita either. Looking at the ingredients list, it doesn't tell you. It literally does not tell you. I mean, the nutrition...
Yeah, because they can't tell you. It's just liability. They can't tell you.
Facts. There's actually not even an ingredient list under that. Now, what's interesting here is the dose recommendation on the back as well. We take a look at the dose recommendation, and it says mind melt, therapeutic melt, and micro melt as the doses. Now, you'll notice mind melt is a very popular term used by these shroom gummy brands. They used to say much more egregious stuff on the back, but I think some sort of lawsuit occurred with one of these brands. And
yeah, so I don't think that that's a factor. I do think that they're starting to change the terminology to just more reflect the competition. Right, so Treehouse has been pretty bold with their claims that 7+ of their gummies is going to rock your shit. But back when it was confirmed to be 4-ACO DMT, 7 of those gummies is going to be something. It's certainly not going to really send you a full bag of the Treehouse gummies, which again, that product is believed to be a white label version of Treehouse, was estimated at about 25 milligrams of 4-ACO DMT or comparable research chem. They all have a very similar weight for their dosage, with the exception of a couple rare ones, but that's a different story for a different time. So a full bag is only going to really put you at the equivalent of a 3-ish gram mushroom trip, which is no laughing matter, but it's by no means melting your mind. It's not going to send you. So much of the dosing guides on a lot of these older packages and older ones are just not great. You know, if you're trying to genuinely melt your mind, anybody who's experienced knows that for a treehouse, you're going to have to eat the whole bag for you to get anything substantial. So it's just PR. Why they decided to swap it to Mind Melt, I guess Mind Melt is far more ambiguous than quote-unquote Day on the Moon, what it used to say on the treehouse. It might still say. I don't have one of the packs with me.
Now they're much more careful with the way they word these things on the back. Let me show you another example of that with this bag of gummies that I purchased right here. These are Desert Stardust mushroom gummies here. And if we flip it over to the back, this one actually tells you ingredients, but obviously it doesn't tell you the full ingredient list. It just says here, tapioca syrup, cane sugar, pectin, natural and artificial flavors, citric acid, sodium citrate or citrate, spirulina powder, and black/purple carrot juice for color. It clearly, as you can see here, does not tell you what the actual...
Again, because of liability. I don't know how he wouldn't really grasp this at this point, because he's clearly done more research since that previous video on the quote-unquote mushroom vape. So he should know. Like, they just can't. You know, they're not gonna. They don't have to legally, and it would be strategically inadvantageous for them, even if the product is completely fine and safe, to say the active ingredient, because it likely skirts the line of violating the Federal Analog Act. They're just going to say shit like proprietary nootropic blend or proprietary entheogenic blend. It's all marketing.
Actual stuff is in here. You know, it says proprietary nootropic blend.
There you go.
Very popular. They call it a proprietary blend to get out of actually telling you what's in here. And then it says there's also lion's mane, 2.5 milligrams per gummy, it says. So that's, at least we know one of the things in here.
Yeah, I mean, that's so inconsequential as far as, like, that amount of lion's mane ain't going to do fuck all for you. I think that a lot of these ones will, like, say that they're adding in other small amounts of, like, I'm trying to think of what catchphrase is big in the market right now. I think functional mushrooms is the term that they use a lot. So, like, I have this. It's a functional mushroom. You know, it's not meant to be psychoactive. It's just meant to provide, like, mild energy boosts, mental health boosts. Very vague stuff that's just as not FDA approved as any of these other ones. But I think that they feel like if they put some in and say that there is some in, they can at least kind of be like, oh, it's mushroom, and, you know, make it mushroom theme. It just strikes me as complete marketing. Yeah, I don't think there is any lion's mane in there at all, to be honest. Well, 2 milligrams is nothing. So, like, you could totally put in 2 milligrams and just, you know, just to say it has mushrooms in it, right? Like,
here. Interestingly, this has a QR code on the back, so I'm going to scan this. Hold on. So after like 20 attempts of zooming in and literally restarting my phone, I cannot get this QR code on the bottom to scan here.
But why even? Why say that it has lion's mane? It is strictly a marketing thing. I'm willing to bet you that some public relations expert told them that that would be better to do in order to make it seem as though it is more... No? Okay, you're going to have to elaborate. Why even put it in? The lion's mane into the Desert Stardust? Like I said, I think just marketing. It would have no... At 2 milligrams, it would have, like, no function. It would do fuck all for you. Oh, like, just say it and do nothing? Because if they do say it has it, they could get in trouble. So this is something that I'm researching currently, and I don't want to, like, reveal too much because I don't want to make any claims about Road Trip in specific that I can't substantiate. But there has been pretty big changes to the packaging. And one of the changes is that they used to say it had Amanita muscaria, and now it no longer does. I've had plenty of these products. I've had plenty of Road Trip. There is no shot the old Road Trips had any of the active ingredients in Amanita muscaria in it. So I think that they're being very cautious about what they say for these, like, vaguely alternative mushroom things that aren't psychedelic per se, but still have quote-unquote nootropic effects. Who knows? It's 2 milligrams. You just scrape a little bit off of a mushroom and toss it in a gummy. It requires nothing of you.
I don't know if it's too small. I don't know what the deal is, but there's this little QR, and I can't get it to scan. So, whatever.
I've noticed that too. Some of the packages, it was on one particular line. The QR code, I think, is just messed up because of the way that they, like, printed the label and then, like, stapled it at the bottom or glued it at the bottom.
We're just going to keep it pushing. I want to make it clear that on the product page for these, there's no test results attached. So I was hoping that that QR code was going to take me to some results, but it doesn't appear it does. Maybe it's supposed to, but on this bag, it doesn't seem to work. Now, what I really want to highlight that's very interesting on the back of this bag is the dosing guide, okay? Like I said earlier, all of these products have dosing guides on the back, and they use very
Not all of these products. Some of them do not, and if you eat them, like a whole container of some of these, you are in danger. They're starting to moving towards like all of them having a dosing guide, but again, the dosing guide is mostly marketing. Like, how does one quantify like the distinction between a going to the park trip or going to the moon trip, like road with a treehouse? Like, it's
creative and ambiguous terms on them.
Yeah.
Now they seem to have kind of wrangled it in, but let's take a look. So it says low dose, medium dose, high dose, and heavy dose on the back. You see those little.
So with we'll zoom that back out.
And heavy dose.
Okay, so with road trip in specific, I would say that this dosing guide is generally an accurate assessment. I've done this product many, many times. I've done it on low tolerance. I've done it on high tolerance. If you are in a low or no tolerance scenario, this dosing guide is perfectly sufficient for what you should expect from it. The estimates on this particular product, or at least the old line, I can't say for the new. I have the new one's coming up soon for another re-review to kind of compare and contrast, see if the recipe's changed. But the estimates place one of these bags at being between like 35 and 45 milligrams of whatever the active ingredient research chem is. We can just hop into it right away. So, Psychonaut-Wiki. I'm going to pull up some of the contenders that I believe are possible for what is in this one. And you'll see again that the dosing is pretty consistent across the board on these synthetic tryptamines. So one of the leading theories is something called 4-HO-MET. All right, here we are. So 4-HO-MET, it gives a brief description. It's structurally related to psilocin. So what makes this one a very common option is it has not been seen out in a legal precedent whether or not this would be considered an analog of psilocin, because it is distinct enough that it's not really the same thing. It sure as shit is psychedelic. There is no denying that. But is it sufficiently close enough to psilocin? It's not been in a court case, so we don't know that. There is another substance that is very structurally similar to this. I believe that is 4-ACO-MET. It's believed that 4-ACO-MET may become 4-HO-MET. It might describe this here. The substance is closely related in structure to 4-HO-MET, for which it is theorized to act as a prodrug. Prodrug meaning it would become that more active form. We'll just get that up here. Is a compound that, after administration, is metabolized into a pharmacologically active substance. Right, so it's believed that 4-ACO-MET on its own isn't going to do much for you, but once it digests, it becomes the 4-HO-MET, and that's where you will start getting your tryptamine psychedelic effects. Another few candidates for what this specific product may be. If you scroll down into the ring substituted tryptamines, you'll find that there are a metric fuckload of just slightly different substances. And each of them are all very, very similar to psilocin and to classic tryptamine psychedelics, but all of them have mild little mini property changes that make it a bit challenging. Another one of the classic ones that is alleged to be in a lot of these products is 4-ACO-MIPT. This one supposedly, again, you see it as a very similar dosing amount for what is recommended. Because there are not many good sources on trip reports, it's very hard to gather how they differentiate between one another. But if you've had enough of these products, you can tell that some of them just feel a bit different than others, but in very minute ways. So yeah, keep that in mind. Road Trip likely uses one of these substances. They're not going to advertise that it's one of these substances because they don't want to risk a chance of there being some sort of legal pressure where then they will have to litigate whether or not their active ingredient counts as a analog of psilocin, in which it would then be considered illegal to distribute.
on the back. You see those little symbols. Now, that's fine and dandy, but what did it used to say on the back before they had to change it? Well, allow me to show you.
He's got a side-by-side comparison.
I have a screenshot on my phone here of their old dosaging guide. Take a look here. I'll just hold that up very briefly, and then I'll read it to you for those of you guys who aren't watching the video, if you're only listening to the audio. It says 1 to 2 gummies is a body high and giddy. 2 to 3 gummies is sensory effects and joy. 5 to 6 gummies is altered perception. And it says, buckle up, 7 to 8 gummies is inner awakening. Now, these are very clear.
Yeah, so that's fascinating. Yeah, that is a good point. That is a change on there. It's hard to say what the implications of that change are. Because, like, the advertising on the package doesn't really... it's not really bearing on whether or not they're using one of these potentially gray area analogs. So... Woo. Still kind of sick. It's hard to say if that has any actual implication on the legality, whether they were advised to change it or whether they just figured it would be better to label it that way. It's hard to know. There are a lot of rumors in this industry that there was a raid on Road Trip specifically a few months back. The details of this rumor are ambiguous, but I've heard them from enough vendors to think that there might be something to it. And that raid time period where it was thought to have happened does coincide with a lot of these packaging changes. So perhaps they were hit for something. They were told that they had to change a couple different things about the packaging to be, less sensational or less weird about it. And they just did this, to comply and not get in trouble. That's very possible. But I don't see how from a public relations or marketing standpoint why that change would be substantively important. It is noteworthy, though. I do find it curious.
Clearly trying to make you trip. They're trying to make you believe that these are going to make you trip balls. Okay,
They will. Anybody who says otherwise is crazy. If you eat a bag of, well, I can say that for sure with the old bag. If you eat a bag of Road Trip, a full bag, and you are not tripping balls, you are on medication preventing it from happening. I've had lots of people come to me and say, oh, I took these an hour ago and I feel nothing. They're a dud. And then 2 hours later, they're like, no, they work. I've had people report profound trips on even half of a full bag. They work. It's not going to feel exactly the same as a psilocybin trip because the active ingredient is slightly different. There are some distinctions. I personally find that Road Trip is far more of a mental introspective type of sensation with far less dramatic visuals, but it is 1,000,000% psychedelic and you will trip on it.
A flight to catch in like 6 hours today, so I'm not really trying to completely trip balls, but I have a slight feeling that I kind of won't on these. Now, the 2 bags I've showed you so far are, like, in my opinion, the more tame ones, okay? This third one, I don't know what the hell I'm holding here, but here we have an ultra-high potency 12,000 milligram blend with 1,500 milligrams of kava in it. So this is really just a cocktail of hoopla. Who the hell knows what's in here?
Yeah, so again, that when you see these brands saying crazy numbers, like this amount milligrams of this or that, for most of it, it is, again, just marketing. It's often referring to like the grand collection of all of the active ingredients, what they're trying to do, and you can perceive this as deceptive. I can totally understand why this may rub you the wrong way, but they seem to be using these labeling strategies to kind of make them more on par with what you'd expect from a classic 2018 Farm Bill compliant cannabis products. Where a lot of these cannabis products are very big on their whole, like, this many milligrams this many that. They're pretty upfront and close with it, which is good. That's disclosure. But a lot of times it's also a weird mismatch of, like, a bunch of altanoids, Delta 8, some Delta 9, THCP. It's all sorts of weird shit. So most of the time, the labeled amount of ingredient is just vague marketing. That's kind of just the problem with this weird gray area we're in. It's inevitable. Some companies do a better job than others. It is what it is. But as far as the kava being added is actually pretty common in a couple of these. If you're not familiar, I don't know if he's going to get into it. Kava is a sort of alcohol or alternative. that is very commonly practiced in a lot of the South Pacific oceanic cultures. It's considered kind of like a mixture of like a ritualized and socialized drink. It's frankly pretty not pleasant to taste on its own. It's usually served in like a green frothy liquid. A lot of people struggle to get it down. And so there's been a big explosion lately in a lot of dispensaries and smoke shops selling kava based products. And so Wonder, this brand, has a series of different lines of products. They have their standard entheogenic blend. To my understanding, this is just strictly their research chemical and then maybe like an impact booster style agent. Nothing else in it. Then they have one that adds the kava. Then they have one with Blue Lotus. And recently I saw that they have one with THC now. And so it's just one of their various blends. I personally find that the kava one is very unpleasant at high amounts because kava is a GABA receptor style substance. It's going to feel like alcohol. And a lot of times when you combo alcohol with psychedelics, it's not the most pleasant experience. Some people can handle it well, but not for me. So I don't personally use that one. And if you were to down that entire bag of Wonder with the kava, you're in for an experience. That one's no joke. All right, even when I was in Oklahoma cannabis industry, we had funky number on our eddies. Some were based on the net weight of the gummy, and that's a med industry. Yeah, no, it's mostly just marketing bullshit on all of these weird, like... This is what happens. See, now, if cannabis were just legal and we weren't still playing these stupid games of drug war nonsense, this kind of stuff wouldn't happen. But it is. You make do with what you can. What's the important part is that you actually, try and do your own independent research. The whole reason why my Reddit that I formed exists is because I tried doing research into this weird shit with both altnoids and then these mushroom products, and there's just no education out there on it. And frankly, a big reason for that is because YouTube will strike you in a heartbeat. There's a solid chance that there would be tons of more reviews, but they get smited because you have to play these weird little tiptoeing games to not get your shit banned. I tried posting these reviews on TikTok, got a strike on TikTok because of it. Nobody wants to hear it despite it being readily sold everywhere in the United States. You could go into any smoke shop in America and basically guarantee you're going to find some of these products. It's fucking everywhere. All right, it was legal there, even regulated, still is a mess. So it was legal in the state, right? I'm talking federally. A lot of the specific limitations on what you can and can't say on products like this is a federal situation, right? So even if it's allowed in the state, they often don't have to adhere to guidelines. And because it's so awkward to do interstate, selling of these substances, it's still a mess. There's a big issue in the cannabis industry right now with the use of pesticides and the fact that there are basically no regulatory bodies that are managing this situation. Whole different conversation for a different day.
And looking on the back, they do not tell you what's in here. Once again, they use the proprietary mushroom blend term, which is a very, very popular term.
Yep, very popular. I believe that the active ingredient in Wonder is the same one that is used in Road Trip. I can't say this with confidence, but it just provides an incredibly similar sensation that is distinct from other products and distinct with standard magic mushrooms. It is its own entity.
That these brands like to use to hide what they really put in these gummies. Now, we see the supplement facts. We see the little nutrition facts on the back. It doesn't appear... Oh, here we go. Active ingredients. Proprietary mushroom blend, of course.
A classic.
Lion's mane. Reishi. Reishi. I've actually never heard of that.
It's another one of these quote-unquote functional mushrooms. It is very... With all of these functional mushrooms, they've been in the health and wellness community for quite a while now. A lot of people who would have been in that space before probably are more familiar with them than I am. But they are also, once again, a supplement that is not regulated by the FDA. So their effectiveness is incredibly inconsistent on its, authenticity. Some people talk about how it's done a lot for them. Some people have talked about how it's done basically nothing. I have yet to make a firm opinion on it. Like I said, I have a couple of these different things. But another thing you have to keep in mind is pretty much any supplement of anything in America is not going to be FDA approved. Here's a good example from you here. This is a B12 supplement container that is made directly from the people at Target. This is a Target first-party product. And what do you know? These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. You're going to find it on all of this stuff. All right, lion's mane does help me, in my opinion. Kind of helps me focus with these stimulating effects. Could be placebo. Yeah, like that's the thing. These are quote-unquote functional mushrooms. How would you really discern between it actually being helpful for you and actually doing that and just it being a placebo? It's very possible that these do things for you, but they're just not really being studied. And if they are, it's like some small university that has an incredibly small actual like test pool. Is it controlling for things like caffeine or other things that we take in our diets that may increase or decrease our energy? How would you possibly know? All right. Anyone who is taking doses of B12 and feels better from taking doses of B12 is vitamin B12 deficient. Go to your doctor, get a lab test, and find out if you're B12 deficient. Otherwise, it shouldn't have any effect. There's no pharmacological evidence behind it having a huge issue. People assume there isn't too much B12, but it does exist. Right, so there is a very specific reason why I have this. Or have this. Not going to discuss it here because of YouTube. If you know, you know. But yes, you're generally right. Another one of those things that people don't know is the overwhelming majority of energy drinks fit under the exact same thing. They're considered like a dietary supplement. They're not regulated. They don't, only a couple of them have really made it past that threshold, but a lot of the really wacky stuff you're going to find in gas stations, it's like chalk to the tits in B12. It's got all these other things. There's this one that I quite like. It's called Ghost. It's got all this weird stuff in it. I have no idea whether or not that does anything for you. It's a crapshoot.
And kava. And then it says the inactive ingredients are just typical stuff you find in gummies. Granulated sugar, liquid glucose, what you'd expect in pretty much any gummy under the sun, you know? There's some other interesting disclaimers here. It says, our high-potency cavalactone-infused entheogenic mind trip gummies were...
Cavalactone is just the chemistry term for that category of substance. So that could also mean to suggest that it doesn't actually have kava in it. It's using some form of just the extract, which checks out. It's probably easier to put in gummy form that way.
Designed to allow for a deep sense of physical relaxation while igniting the mind in an extraordinary fusion that transcends boundaries of a fungi-only blend. I'm just going to keep it a buck. You would probably have to put a gun to the side of my head to get me to eat this cocktail. And these also...
He's done way worse. Come on, dude. Like, let's not play around. You smoked spray. Don't be overly dramatic, right? If you don't want to take it, don't take it. But, like, come on.
Probably taste absolutely god-awful.
They don't taste good. I will agree with him on that one. A lot of these products taste like straight donkey dick. They're not good. The active ingredient, the research chem, is very bitter and strong. And so a lot of these brands will do weird things to try to either make it cover up. A couple of them don't even try, and it's not pleasant. The people at Wonder have put in a lot of effort into attempting to mask the blend, and I would say that it masks the research chem pretty well, but I've just found that what they made to mask it, I don't find pleasant. But that's far more of a me thing, like a personal preference thing. Most people, if you were to eat that gummy, you would not necessarily know anything was up with it.
About the ingredient list. However, I am going to eat some of these gummies today. Just not that bad. Before I do, though, let me show you the Amazon orders for these real quick. All right, so just a heads up real quick. This is going to be a bit scuffed, me showing you guys, because I'm on my iPad. But allow me to just show you my iPad.
Hey, I can't disrespect him there. My entire streaming setup and all my video recording is extremely scuffed. Respect to the scuffed crew.
Pad here that I bring with me when I travel. So just showing that we're going to the Amazon app here. This isn't like photoshopped or anything. Here we go. Going into the Amazon app, here's my order history. I just typed in mushroom at the top, which is what I typed in to find all of these. As you can see, there's actually 5 orders. 2 of these I didn't bring with me, and 2 of them have already been taken down off Amazon. If you click on them, it does not, there's no product listing. This is the 1-Up bar. that I was telling you guys about, which thank God that this got delisted. I will say that right now. I mean, this needed to go. But as you can see, I literally bought a 1-Up vanilla bean mushroom chocolate bar. The road trip gummies that I just showed you guys are also already delisted. However, the box...
Yeah, it's almost like... big think here, bold idea. The people uploading them aren't actually the manufacturers, and there's a chance that the manufacturers themselves are getting them taken down because it's bad PR. Interesting how that works.
Bottom 3 here are not, and if you go on here, I'm going to show you in a second, these have just reappeared. They are just relisted under a different vendor, but all of these are...
They're relisted under a different vendor? Fascinating. Interesting.
Still available on Amazon to purchase again. I bought these a little while ago by now, but they're still up. It's been almost 2 months since I made my first order of these, and they're still here. They're still here. Now, let me show you guys real quick how many of these are still on Amazon. So let me just show you guys real quick how widespread this issue is. I literally have typed in nothing but magic mushroom on Amazon, not even gummies or anything. We've got these ones that I didn't bring with me, and they're advertised as mega dose gummies. We have these sketchy kava ones that I just showed you guys. They have different versions of those on here, okay? We scroll down, there's flavors of all these sketchy ones. We keep going. Here's 8,000 milligram nootropic proprietary.
Yeah, more of just marketing.
With every shroom under the sun. Keep going down. The road trip gummies. That's interesting. I thought those got delisted. We just saw the listing was deleted. Well, these are the same ones I'm holding, and as you can see, there's just a new listing right back up on Amazon from a
So something else you'll note is that the price that they're listed on is also above what it typically will go for in stores. The average price that you will typically find a road trip for is going to be $25. Depending on your wholesale agreement, I've heard some places as low as $7 to get them from road trip. Some places it seems as high as $15. Why it would be $29.99 down to $20? I mean, did Road Trip's own website change it? Let's see. Road Trip gummies. All right, this is their official website. All right, let's see. Oh, that's the trial pack. Oh, it's all one listing. All right, well, we'll go to the blue raspberry. We'll find that one again. 8 pouch. Oh, they have indeed moved it up to 30. All right, shoot. Fair enough. Then it matches at least for that one. $7 for 8 road trip gummy. No, that's for the 2 pouch. Man, road trips, they're jacking up their own prices. Come on, what are you guys doing? You're getting outcompeted by better brands. Keep up.
They probably went back up the next day, if I had to guess, you know? Now, there's a lot of these, okay? There's a lot of these products. This is a not very specific search. You have literal shroom chocolates, right? I mean, not all of these I'm saying are meant to make you trip, but a lot of these are, and they're hidden among these other just natural, like, health supplement products, okay? Now, the 1-Up bar is the most egregious one, but this is, I mean, you guys really, I encourage you. I'm not going to sit here scrolling all day for you, but you've seen we have scrolled past way more than I even ordered for this video. This is not just a one-off listing. This is something that a lot of companies are starting to do and put on.
Yeah, but most of what he scrolled through was also, just regular-ass functional mushrooms. It did seem like of the ones he went through, many of them appear to just be your functional kind.
Amazon. And when I posted this on Twitter, I actually got a response from one of the brands who claimed that it's just a third-party vendor who put their product on the website, a third-party distributor. They have no control over it. But just keep in mind that these companies choose who to distribute to, okay? They are choosing to distribute to these sketchy individuals, and they don't know where the products are ending up. Personally...
That is fair. I will grant him that. Yeah, a lot of these places are pretty fucking sketch. Well, I mean, frankly, smoke shops are pretty sketch. There's a reason why there's kind of like a bad reputation. All right, thanks for stopping by. Have a good rest of your night. The trouble then is, like, who's to say that they didn't sell it to a particular company who on the surface seems fine and reasonable for being one of these dispensaries or smoke shops, and then they on their private account are uploading it themselves or on a burner account? How would you possibly prove that?
I believe these companies should be doing a little more due diligence on who they're distributing to and where these products end up, okay? But you have to realize a lot of these are in smoke shop shelves, and they intentionally go to smoke shops that don't card their customers so they can sell more of them, because they understand that a lot of the users for these kind of products.
Okay, so that is a bold accusation that borders on slanderous. You would have to really prove that shit. If I were a particularly litigious company, that there would get your ass sued. You got to be careful with that one, Goblin. You said some shit in the previous one that there's a chance they just don't want the trouble. You know, they don't want this to become a precedent. They don't want, you know, information to go to discovery. But that is a statement that you don't have evidence for, that they're intentionally selling to places that don't card. I look incredibly young for my age. Okay? I'm 27, but I look like 20 tops. I have been to basically every single smoke shop in southeast Wisconsin outside of downtown Milwaukee. I have never not been carded. Not once. So that is an incredibly bold claim to make without evidence. Are there certainly smoke shops that are less likely to not card you? Sure. And I mean, Goblin talks about how he got a lot of his stuff from smoke shops that didn't card him when he was a kid.
Are frequently underage. Look, once again, I just scroll down a little more. Day Tripper. Oh yeah, yum yum yum, dude. Isn't that just fantastic, everybody? Right off Amazon. So now that I've actually shown...
All right, so since he's moving on from the Amazon one, so we're going to pull up Amazon ourselves, and we're going to look into a couple of these products. Like I said, I confirmed with a couple of these companies, and they are claiming that they indeed are not the ones doing this, and they are third-party resellers. The evidence I saw a few weeks ago seems to suggest that as well, but how do you know? You know, we're working on speculation here. I'm not going to say the company name, but I think there's a solid chance that it is because I spoke with the company rep that they reached out to Goblin, because they were super nonchalant about the topic until I raised it to them, and then they tried to play it off as, oh, it's all cool, it's all fine. I was like, look, guys, you do realize that this video is going to be probably the single most viewed video on your products on the internet. You kind of want to get out ahead of that one. And so it seems like they actually did that. Who knows? All right, so we'll go to Amazon. So I'm not logged in on Amazon. I don't think that should matter. We're just going to type in mushrooms. Just like what he did. All right, so simply the phrase mushrooms is not doing fucking jack. All right, let's see. Little Goblin makes the same point about a lot of these companies intentionally selling to the youth. Yeah, again, it's like, is it possible that they are selling to an underage market? For sure. You would just have to prove that. I mean, that's basically slander. You would have to prove that that is true. I don't think they're going to take him to court because, again, I don't think they want their documents going into discovery. Fair. This is indeed on a very gray area legally for any of this shit, so that does make sense. Okay, he searched the phrase magic mushroom. Okay. Let's see. All right, so we have another one of these sponsored ones. Not shocking there. Recently bought and rated. I just want a brief. Okay, so we'll start from the top. So we have this brand. Based on the shape of this package, I think this may be the people from Hyzotic who are like redoing their stuff. All right, so what can we see? 3 assorted for 50. Six gummy per pack. That's weird. All right, so this is truly one of those mystery magic mushrooms. If I've not heard of your product in this space, that suggests you are either really new or really niche. All right, who sold it? All right, magic mushroom gummies, 300 milligrams, 6 count, cognitive enhanced. You know, it's just marketing. It's bullshit. You know, none of that matters. Directions, 21 or older. Yeah, but that's not enforceable on Amazon, I don't think. There's a chance that if you go to checkout with this, it would require an ID verification, but I highly doubt it. All right, let's see. Do we even know who... Do we have any information on the Brand generic. Bro, what? Okay, right, so these are a complete ghost brand. I've never heard of them. There is a chance that the manufacturer of this one is indeed putting this one on there. Dreamer. We're going to find this one out on its own. Do note that the name of the package is not on the listing. That's fun. Dreamer Magic Gummies. All right. My Dreamer Club. This is probably their website. Yeah, whatever. Get out of here. So it does not show where you can even get the mushrooms on their page. Okay. I mean, cool generic website you got here. All right, so this one is definitely one of the shadier ones I've seen in a hot minute. I'll grant you that. Let's move on to the road trip. Let's take a gander. Brand, generic. Oh, interesting. Sold by Metelsky Family Farm. And they're just selling road trip. Does it tell me when this was added? I've not done like a lot of searching on Amazon recently. So some of them suggest that it goes back as far as February. Okay, so I don't know who the Metelsky family. Just some random dude. We'll go back. All right, now we are, let's keep going down the list. Now we got the Day Tripper Gummies. I've not had the Day Tripper Gummies before. I've had their tabs a couple times. Sold by Kuzo Store. Oh, Shako. Kuzo Store is not this brand. Never received package. Now just want my money back. I need a refund. Never came. Oh, so it's just a blatant scam. Who would have thought? Do you really think Day Tripper would want their product listed where it is just a dude not shipping the stuff? Is Road Trip removing the listings as in his video, the original listing here, he bought it was gone? No, so what that's possible. So I think that there are two possibilities. Possibility one is Amazon is somewhat aware of the situation and is having some sort of bot auto take them down. Option two is, yeah, one of the representatives for these brands are specifically going in and contesting that it is not officially sold by them, and then Amazon is either automatically or manually taking it down. That's my guess. All I can say is, as a person who has a background in PR and marketing, this is something to where if you were making these products, you would seriously want like a person on standby going around daily requesting that these be taken down. It's just too much of a liability disaster. If you did not have a person whose job was to just scour social media for shit that would like be bad reputationally, you're irresponsible. You're not running your company well. Like, it's just, you would never want to do that, especially when Kuzo Store is not shipping your stuff. All right, next up, here's one of the Wonder. So this is the Wonder Blue Lotus formula. I think this is the best from Wonder. Sold by Brand Generic. Sold by Natural Agents. What do they all have? Guys, come on. Wonder and Muka. Those are competitors. This is a smoke shop that is just using a random burner account to then ship product that they got ordered to their smoke shop, and they're posting it on Amazon to try to increase the profits outside of their region. That's what this is. It's probably just some shady smoke shop in some random ass town, and then they happen to run the Amazon on the side. I think it's a liability for these brands being on Amazon. They shouldn't want sales with no ID verification. They should only be sold on the original website. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So if you plan on buying any of these products online, get it from the original site. They actually do age verification. It's not that hard. And again, the prices for these that you find on Amazon are not better than what you're going to find on the actual storefront. And even, or just go to a fucking smoke shop. Like, I routinely will find Road Trip selling for $25 in person lately. Just go to a smoke shop. They're everywhere. There are several of them in the middle of bumfuck nowhere, Wisconsin. If I can find them in person, I'm sure you can. Just don't get them online. Use it as an opportunity to chat with the people at the smoke shop, because you'll get to really appreciate just how ignorant or willfully ignorant a lot of the people at these places are. They know nothing about the product. They know fucking nothing. Only a couple really good ones know even the slightest, and they still want to keep it on the down low to some extent. It is a gray area. People don't want to discuss it. But I can tell you one thing. Muka and Wonder are not selling on the same platform. Those are competitors. Next up, is this going to be by the same people? Natural Agents, yep. Now we have the Shroom Fused. Tried Shroom Fused for the first time recently. These ones are definitely one of the better. Ooh, that's a bad omen. This one does say it's sold by Shroom Fused. Are you guys really? Uh-oh. Shroom Fused, you just got outed. Uh-oh. Yeah, you should not be doing this, guys, unless there is indeed a built-in age verification on Amazon. Is there? For age-restricted items on Amazon, customers must go through an age verification process. Okay, here's a new test. I'm going to try to get my ass one of these. I want to see if it does age verification. Do they have the Mega Blend now? Road Trip has none. On their website? Since when? Oof. Oh, on Amazon? Yeah, of course not, because it's not sold by Road Trip. Or what the fuck, I purchased some Shroom Fused and I don't recall an age verification. On Amazon? Ooh, Shroom Fused, you guys are going to get in trouble. Just because I like your product doesn't mean I'm not going to blast you for this. You need to get your ass on this. You have your own website. You should not be selling on Amazon. Shame on you. We're going to see if it changes. I'm definitely going to, I'm probably going to try through them. Wait, payment, secure transaction. What does that mean? Is that just credit card? I do not use Amazon enough to... We're going to test that one, guys. Okay. Shroom Fused, you might be on the shit list. I know we got a Muka. This is probably by that same people. Yeah, Natural Agents. The fake people. Then we have another Day Tripper. Kuzo Store, another bullshit storefront. Alright, and that is it seems. It's just Shroom Fused. Ooh, Shroom Fused, you better fix that soon. I'm gonna test it. I'm not gonna test it now, but like I do think I'm gonna try to do that for a specific piece. Because I don't have any issue with these products on their own. Is Karma IQ on Amazon? No, Karma IQ is exclusively sold through this store. I would be shocked if somebody was reselling it because they are not nearly big enough of a company to be doing that. They don't even... Karma IQ mushroom gummies. I swear, Karma IQ, if you're on this list, I'm going to be pissed. Nope. Yeah, so Karma IQ only does online on their website as of now. They do not do... they don't have partners who do retail. They don't sell them to other people. It's just through them alone. Honestly, at least Willy Wonky / Wonderland bars isn't on Amazon. I tripped on 2 pieces for the first. So Wonderland is... Willy Wonky and Wonderland are... ooh. I don't think we discuss them here. If you know, you know. We'll leave it at that. I don't foresee them showing up on Amazon because that is... As far as I'm concerned, that's Fed bait. I don't... I ain't fucking with that one. Alright, so the general consensus is every single one of the brands that were posted on here, with the exception of Shroom Fused, is obviously by a reseller. Shroom Fused, if that is genuinely you on Amazon, you need to get your shit together. It's totally possible that there is a company posing as Shroom Fused. That just seems a lot less obvious. Like, why would you do that? That seems not the greatest strategy. All right, back to it.
You guys the listings on the website and my orders and all these gummies, I think it's time to stop wasting time and just try one of these. Now, I'm not going to eat a super high dose because I don't really want to, get too messed up today, and I literally have a flight to catch in just a few hours.
Tripping while flying sounds fantastic. Prove me wrong. YouTube, this is for education and harm reduction purpose. Please don't!
So this should be interesting. Hopefully this dose on the back is correct. It says low dose, 1 gummy. I'm going to eat 1 gummy, just 1. I'm going to tell you guys if I feel anything at all. So let's go ahead and just pull this one out, okay? I mean, it's a gummy. Oh, very grainy. Oh. Ugh.
Grainy. I'm not sure I would describe the road trips as grainy. Maybe this is one of the new ones. Oh, so I like flying. I like airplanes. I don't mind the experience at all. That sounds fantastic to me. The only thing that would concern me about that process, and I mean, Goblin, I'm pretty sure Goblin talked about how he tripped while flying once. Or was that just the time where he got shit-faced at the bar? To each their own. I feel like there might be issues with tripping while flying if you did the come up while on the plane. I would not recommend that. But if you came up while waiting to board and then you boarded and then you were for the rest of it, that sounds nice. A come down experience on the plane I feel like would be very relaxing and chilling for me.
Ew. It's almost kind of subtly, but it's almost like they ground up some sort of powder and just put it in the middle.
For all we know, that's the weird 2 milligrams of the lion's mane. So, again, I hope that this video will be seen outside of just my community. We're trying to get the information out in general. I rarely will eat these products because they often taste terrible. So I prefer a product in which you can do as minimal chewing as possible and swallow the motherfuckers. And so Road Trip is generally pretty decent with that, where you just kind of, and then you kind of finish it. It gives you a little bit of a grimace, but you're still fine. But I've not had a confirmed new package recipe. I don't foresee that happening. Yeah, we need a Goblin interview from you. I would be game for it. I don't have any issues with him. I was completely fine with him prior to that last video, and I feel like he was just overly exaggerative for YouTube bait. Right, you can say that you don't trust what's in these products because they're not transparent. That is objectively true. However, you don't know if their lack of transparency is because they are being shady, fully possible, or whether they're just operating under safe precautions necessary to make these products in the industry right now. I'm sorry, you just can't be that forthcoming with the information. The reason why Karma IQ, I believe, has been as forward as they are with the product is, one, they're very new to the space, and I feel like they might have to fuck around and find out to learn. And two, because the specific active ingredient used in theirs is distinct enough from psilocin in its makeup that it's very debatable whether that could even be prosecuted under the Federal Analog Act. So if you're not afraid of being caught from making an analog, you would have no reason to not just say what it is. But a lot of these other brands, their stuff is very much skirting that line there.
Like a gusher, but instead of some nice sugary goo in there, it's just like a fucking gram of blow. That would actually be I would have liked that a few years ago, probably. That would have been awesome.
Okay, so again, you can't talk about how you care about the safety and what's in them and then talk about a blow gummy. Come on, man.
Okay, well, I mean, we've got a shroom gummy down the hatch that I ordered off Amazon.
So I can already tell this immediately. He had one. One road trip ain't gonna do a whole lot for you. One road trip on 0 tolerance is you're probably going to feel a little bit giddy. You're going to have a little bit better of a mood. and you're going to have minor saturation enhancements. Right? So like I believe that active ingredient, that substance is one of a couple of these research chems. And if it's, say, this one, 4-ACO MIPT, he likely didn't take more than 5 milligrams, right? Like, it is such a not large amount. If anything, it's in the 10 to 15 range. I mean, fucking nothing. A lot of these gummies have an average of between 5 and 8 milligrams of active ingredient per piece. That's pretty typical. So, Psychonaut is calling that a threshold to light. Are you really gonna... We're talking microdose territory. And then if we go back to 4-HO... Goddamn. There are just so many of these. Once again, 5 milligram light, 5 to 15. I mean, this is going to be nothing. Like, it's nice. You could microdose with it. Yeah, he should have taken the whole pack for a real review. I hate to say it. I got into a lot of these products from a very reckless place, and that probably informed my behaviors when I first started it. But pussy shit, down the whole bag, coward. Get on it. I've done 3 full bags of Road Trip in a singular setting, and I've seen some shit. If he's gonna say that this stuff doesn't make you trip, you are crazy. You are either crazy, on medication, or lying. One gummy ain't gonna do you a whole lot of anything. And the flight, like, for the flight thing, like, okay, fair. You know, I guess he doesn't know that it's not, like, extremely been spiked and then it wrecks his ass. I'll grant him that. But he better down the rest of the bag in another setting. He owes it to the community.
I'm not going to eat any more than that just because of my flight. I'm not really trying to trip today. And also, the point of this video is not whether or not these gummies work. It's not to bash the gummies necessarily, although I do think the distributors and the brands play a role in this, that they should be doing more due diligence to ensure these products don't end up on places like that.
Fair. I'll give them that. Totally fair. I do think that they could be doing a lot better of a job on that particular situation, especially Shroom Fused. You fucks, you need to take that shit down, or I'm going to have to... Maybe you're going to be one of the first ones on the blacklist. We will see.
This video is really more on Amazon. Amazon needs to actually pay attention to the products that are being sold on their website.
Very
and
true.
Maybe do a little more vetting of the third-party vendors that are available on the platform. With a company that has as much money as they do, you'd figure they'd be doing that already, but apparently not. So I'm going to check in with you guys in a little bit and let you know how this gummy's hitting.
Yo, so I just got back from lunch, and 2 things I gotta say. One, North Carolina has the best barbecue ever, okay? I mean, dude, I know people from other states can be mad. I'm sorry, dude. I just had one of the best meals of my life. North Carolina, you guys got good barbecue. 2, though, we gotta talk about those fucking gummies, all right? I'm gonna tell you right now, that shit should not be on Amazon, okay? I want to remind you all, this video is not being negative about the products themselves. Yes, there's a lot of bad actors in the space, but I'm not trying to bash any one brand, okay? This is more about the fact that these shouldn't be on Amazon because
Okay. We're about to see the full thing. There's a chance I'll be pleasantly surprised with his outcome. I feel like he might have actually done a lot more research about the situation after that first video, and if that's true, wow, I'm here for it.
I ate that one gummy and I actually felt that shit. I'm not going to say I was full on tripping. I honestly wasn't expecting it to hit me at all, but I got to the restaurant and I'm standing in there and I'm just like, wait a minute. I got that kind of shroomy feeling in my head. It did feel similar to like a psilocybin shroom. Definitely a little different. It lasted way less time.
Yeah, so it's believed that this specific substance does generally have less of a duration, especially on smaller doses. Where if it is indeed 4-HO MET, you'll see that it says 4 to 6 hours. It seems like the 4 is like the soft cap maximum, and you really have to be on a pretty considerable amount to really get into the 6-hour range. Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I do appreciate that he noticed that while it feels a lot like mushrooms, it's not the exact same. The desert, the what do they even fucking call the subtitle? Desert Stardust, whatever bullshit. The road trips, they are their own entity.
I mean, by the time I left the barbecue place, this entire feeling lasted less than an hour, maybe. I'd imagine if I took more of those gummies, I'd probably end up, having a more psychedelic type of experience, but I have a flight to catch in a few hours, so I think I'm going to save that for when I get home. But what I will say here is I'm surprised that I even felt the one, but I actually did. And also, I wanted to film in this garage because look at this car behind me here. I don't know what the hell this is. I think it's like an old Impala. I think. I'm pretty sure, but look, I just want to show you guys, it's kind of cool. They got this engine here and shit. I don't really know enough about cars to tell you what's going on there, but maybe some of you guys will think this is cool. This is just in the garage of the Airbnb I'm at. Some North Carolina ass shit, I guess. And it's just, I could probably kick those bricks and just make this thing collapse, but I'm not going to do that because this is God.
I feel unsafe looking at a person in a room with that vehicle. That's how not great that looks.
God's country. We don't do that here in North Carolina. Everyone tells you to have a blessed day here. Everyone's very polite. It's kind of crazy, dude. I feel like I'm back in the Midwest, but people are more religious. But yeah, okay, back on topic though. Where's my, come on, point at me. There we go. That shit should not be on Amazon, folks. I 100% did actually feel it. And I'm not going to say wow, I was tripping, but I think potentially you could do that with those. And
not potentially. Again, I have yet to meet a person who has not tripped on road trip. I've had a lot of people say that they hadn't yet, and then all of a sudden it happened. Whether or not the new recipe, if there is a new recipe, is any different, I have to test. I'm going to wait a couple more days on that one to kind of reset things enough. But they work.
That should probably be somewhere that checks your ID and post test results and not sold by a third-party vendor on Amazon. So I'm going to leave it at that, and let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. Hopefully Amazon removes these products, in my opinion, I think is what should happen, because I feel like there's going to be a lot of kids who are going to go on there and order this shit thinking it's from Amazon and then eat that shit and have a bad trip. Share it with their friends and have a bad trip. Or, even worse, is these products are mixed in with a lot of these normal mushroom supplement gummies. So I think the even bigger risk is potentially...
You had me until that last piece. Right, we searched. If you type mushrooms in the search, you're not getting that shit. You're just getting the functional mushrooms. You have to literally type magic mushrooms to start seeing this pop up. So, you had me until the end.
Customers who maybe just take these shroom supplement products for health purposes, accidentally eating a couple gummies and tripping balls on their way to work. That's probably the more dangerous thing. Because picture this. Imagine there's a normal adult who has maybe they buy these mushroom supplements on Amazon and it's a part of their daily routine. Imagine just hypothetically, one of those people were to buy one of these magic mushroom products that makes you trip and they don't realize it.
How would that happen though? Under what circumstance would that happen? Right, the shit talks about how you're gonna trip on it. That's part of the marketing gimmick. Right, so I don't know how any conscious adult would go looking for these functional mushrooms and then end up with that situation. And you'll note that with the functional mushrooms, it doesn't have a dosing guide talking about how potent it's gonna be. Right, I hate to say it, I hate to be that guy, but if you bought Wonder Gummies on Amazon thinking that they were a dietary supplement and you down a whole bag and you are shocked that you're tripping, I don't think you should be allowed to vote. I'm just saying it. I'm just saying, if you are at that level of unawareness of your own being and what you're putting in your body, I don't think you should be allowed to vote. As far as the kids situation, okay, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. While it is bad that this is on Amazon, and the companies and Amazon should do a better job at actually removing them as fast as they can. The whole think of the children argument, it doesn't hold up to me. Why are you letting your child have unrestricted access to your Amazon account where they could even make a purchase of magic mushroom gummies? That sounds like a parenting issue for me. That doesn't really seem like a... Is it a problem? Yes. Should it be dealt with? Yes. But to do the whole think of the children aspect is very, very tone deaf when compared to a lot of the rest of his content, which is frankly glorifying drug use in a lot of these older videos. He's done a lot more precise of a job lately. He might be getting some sort of slack on the back end. I have no fucking clue. I wouldn't even begin to claim that I knew that. The Think of the Kid stuff is just dumb. Like, I don't... There are far better arguments for why that wouldn't be your core thesis.
They take a couple gummies, they're driving to work, and all of a sudden they're fucking tripping while they're driving. I mean, that person could get in some serious trouble.
I didn't even consider this aspect too. Basically, every single one of these products says do not operate a vehicle while using. All of them. Even like shady ones. I mean, fuck. So I have a bag of the discarded products that I've tested, but I'm still needing to work on a full RIN review for. So I'm going to get up, I'm going to go get my bag, I'm going to bring them over, and we're going to read the warnings on a bunch of these random products, including weird ones. Oh, my kneecap. All right, here they are. Don't know where I put the shroom fuse package. I must have thrown it out or something, but... Alright, so we're just going to pull up in random ones. So this is the shady-ass Willy Wonky bar. We don't talk about the Willy Wonky bar more than that. It doesn't have a warning. Now we have the... Something fell on the floor. Oh, here's the shroom fuse package. Apparently it was just on this shelf down here. Nice. This is by Exodus. This is the My Magic. Let's see. Do they give a not driving warning? Do not operate a vehicle or heavy machinery while taking this product. Do not take this product if you are pregnant, breastfeeding, or taking medications. Do not mix with alcohol, cannabis, medications, or other substances. The intoxicating effects of this product may be delayed. Do not take more than 5 gummies in a 24-hour period. It's pretty straightforward there, and let's read what it says for the dosing chart. Yeah, because functional mushrooms totally have a dosing chart. Yeah, they'll have a serving size, but micro, happy and relaxed, mild, euphoric, uplifting buzz. Lit, mild psychedelic visuals, euphoria, extreme, intense psychedelic experience. Like, this one literally says psychedelic repeatedly on the package. All right, now we have Shroom Fuse, the ones who seem to be putting on Amazon. Again, guys, you need to not do that. That's not good. All right. Suggested use: consume 1 gummy to start to establish individual tolerance. Increase dose in increments to achieve desired effect. Okay, desired effect of my casual mushroom supplements. Here are the warnings. Never attempt to operate any form of heavy machinery or moving vehicle while using this product. Intoxicating effects of this product may be delayed. Warning, if consumed, may cause drowsiness. Warning, if consumed, may cause spiritual experience. Fair, but consult a doctor before consuming this product. I mean, ain't nobody doing that, but you can. What is the doctor gonna do? They have to agree to HIPAA certification. They can't just narc on you. They're not gonna narc on you to the cops. And again, it's legal to buy these. And then finally, do not use this if you're pregnant. Okay. Another one of the My Magics. Yep, don't drive a vehicle. The one. Let's see. As with any medicine, ooh, that's a bit yikesy. Calling it medicine, that could get you guys in trouble. You should not do that one. As with any medicine, these should be used responsibly with caution and positive intent. Gummies are strongly potent and can produce powerful psychedelic experience. Is this one more? So this one does not provide a sufficient warning. You guys should get on that. You might get busted. Sessions. Sessions is relatively new on the space. Let's see. Sessions doesn't. You guys should fix that. Silly dots. Do not operate a heavy vehicle. Yep. Have you ever tripped while driving? No. Have you ever tried the My Magic Mushroom? Yep, that is these ones. They are pretty mid. They get the job done, but they're not special. Goblin's just trying to save face after freaking the hell out publicly on the Shroom Vape video and then learned more about it afterward. Well, I wasn't an ass because, think about the children, though. That's very, very possible. That's very possible, but I don't know that, so I'm not going to accuse him of that outright, but that is a plausible theory that I could see being true. Day Tripper. This one says don't operate heavy machinery, plus more. Road Trip. Product can be delayed. May result in drowsiness. Refrain from driving or operating heavy machinery. Consult with medical professional. Purple. Do not operate heavy... The majority of these say it. Yeah, some of these smaller, newer brands don't, and that's because I think they have to fuck around and find out before they learn how to do proper marketing. It's just like basic legal, like, liability shit. Like... It's really shocking how some of them just don't do that sufficiently. So I think the idea of a responsible adult who can... If you are allowed to legally drive, I feel like you might... If you own a car and you take one of these products not knowing it's psychoactive, you should lose your license. Yeah. If you just got this extremely sketch, I mean, again, some of these products look pretty sketch on the outside. If you just were like, oh yes, on Amazon, my important cordyceps, and you down that shit, and then you're tripping balls on the way to work, you should never be allowed to drive again. You should never be allowed to vote again. You are clearly unfit to be a self-responsible adult. You clearly need a guardian. The think about the children argument. Yeah, it's true. Is Amazon age verifying? No, they need to get on that shit stat. And do the companies need to take down any false put-ups of their products? Yes, immediately. But you as a parent also have the responsibility to manage what your child is ordering on Amazon and eating magic mushrooms. How would... Kids these days and their iPads and their Amazon magic mushrooms... I swear.
Well, that could be very bad. So that's personally why I think these shouldn't be sold on Amazon. Or if they are, I mean, at least Amazon maybe disclose what they do, start checking some IDs, or at least put the test results on the product page or something, because...
Yeah, test results are just not happening. Sorry, dude. Until this gets either fully... Until psilocybin gets fully legalized or these products get uniquely targeted, it is never happening. They will test for everything else. They're not going to tell you the active ingredient. It's that simple.
At the time of making this, none of that information is on Amazon whatsoever, and the product pages don't link you to those things either. They don't do that. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but I'm going to go catch my flight. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
All right, so... All things considered, not nearly as
Real quick.
I'm gonna pull up that. Did it show any chance that it showed when this was recorded? I'm curious to see. March 27th. Okay, so he indeed double-checked this the day before uploading. All right, I wanted to confirm that. Good diligence on that one. Okay, so overall thoughts on the video. It is not nearly as bad as I had been concerned with. Like I said, I found the mushroom vape video to be very poorly done. A lot of just vague fear-mongering. Most of the claims that he made in the video are fine. He said a couple things where it veers into like, again, buddy, you're really chancing getting sued. I don't think you will, but you said some dubious claims about, you know, them intentionally selling to smoke shops that don't card you. Is it possible they do? Sure, but you can't say that shit. Are you crazy? The whole think of the kids fear-mongering argument I think is dumb. We don't need to fear-monger for you to, you know, to have the appropriate opinion that these being just accessible on Amazon without age verification is bad. It's just bad. Not only is it bad, like, from like just a strictly business standpoint, it's unethical. But here's one of those unfortunate black pills. Because these substances are unscheduled, Amazon doesn't have to age verify you. That's the problem. There is no age limit on any of these research chemicals. That's just the nature of the game. Is that a problem? Yes. Should there be age verifications? Sure, but that's going to require the government to be actively involved in this one right now. And right now, a lot of people are benefiting from the effects of these synthetic psilocybin-style substances. It's done great benefits for me, my mental health, and my growth as a person. I know literal hundreds of others that can attest to the same. So until there are some major changes to the way that drugs are scheduled, I'm not confident pushing this as like a whole think of the children, we should get the government involved, is a good approach on this one. And I don't see it happening anytime soon either. What a lot of people fail to appreciate because they're not as aware of politics as they should be living in the United States, a country devolving rapidly into fascism, is RFK Jr.'s plan for the FDA would basically make everything like these products, where none of it needs to be confirmed. None of these test results need to be public. Anytime you see a QR code on the back of these products where it has a lab test showing literally anything is purely voluntary. Could they be faked? Sure. Could they be done in complete good faith? Also sure. It's not mandated. And this is the plan that happens when you deregulate all this shit. So I don't see this status quo changing anytime soon. And doing fear-mongering about these products is not helping anybody. I mean, frankly, all this video could have done is just announce to a bunch of children who, like high schoolers who watch Goblin's content, who are like how Goblin was when he was a high schooler, learning, oh, hey, Goblin just told me that I can get magic mushrooms that work on Amazon without age verification. If they're smart enough, they could work out a way on how to do that and get it to their home without there being a problem. There are a ton of different ways you could do that. Obviously, I'm not going to share them because I'm not trying to get unnecessary heat on this subject. It's not needed. It's a catch-22 because do I think his claims about Amazon having them up there being bad is a problem? Yes. But did he just make this information aware to a significantly larger audience by making this video? Very much so. There's a solid chance that a lot of these Amazon postings are going to explode in popularity soon because of this video. I don't know. Hard to say. I would very much like to have a conversation with the guy on the subject. I just don't see the chance of him reaching out being very high. I might write a comment about it. Yeah, we'll write a comment. Let's see. I'll give some context. Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of how to word this in a very neutral way that's like not outright hostile, because I'm not. I think he could have done it better, but I do think fundamentally the core thesis of his video is completely fine. I just don't like the fear mongering. Man, my typing is shit lately. It's gotten so bad. All right. So I can't tell if you can even see it due to the compression, but I put in, just got a chance to watch the whole video. I operate potentially the largest forum online for the reviewing and discussing of these products. It's not even a big community, but shockingly, it is indeed true. There's just fucking nothing online for this shit. I found this one was handled far better than the previous video on the mushroom vape, and I agree with your core thesis on structural issues with Amazon. I do find your claims on people accidentally dosing these very dubious, and the think of the children argument very unnecessary and bordering on fear-mongering. Parents have a responsibility to monitor their child's online purchasing habits. Regardless, I found your central thesis sound, and I hope Amazon and the manufacturers do a better job taking down third-party vendors uploading these without age verification. I think that's about as diplomatic as this one can be. I mean, the deep irony is still just the situation. Like, bro, your audience is mostly young people who would not be able to buy these in a store. So I just find it very inadvisable that you would then, signal boost this to your audience of lots of underage people. It is what it is. I expect that we're probably going to get some bombardments of news articles from idiots in mainstream media, like talking about, like, did you know our children are at risk of dying to the mystery mushroom? Like, we're going to get some crazy ass articles. It's going to be the diamond shrooms all over again. Those bastards ruined it for everybody. Regardless, it is what it is. I thought it was better than expected. I can be satisfied with that, at least. And so that ends this particular video for the reaction. Part of me would hope the opportunity to speak with him at some point. I don't foresee that happening. I don't think it's necessary either, but I would not be opposed to it, even if it was just a private conversation. I feel like a lot of the stuff he discussed in this video are things that he would not know unless he was in our community to some extent. There's just nobody else who's really... There are individual product reviews or individual discussion pieces on other forums or in other locations, but it's not as centralized as what we got going on. I feel like it's inevitable that he would have found it. I'll leave it at that one.